Well, it's nearly the conclusion of our evening, but we do have one more speech from a very esteemed Australian. This was the 2024 New South Wales Australian local hero, Angus Olsen. Angus Olsen's daughter Jane was 2 when she was diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer, and Angus sat at his daughter's bedside during her weeks of chemotherapy and surgery. He began drawing about her procedures to make sense of it. The former Disney artist now volunteers creating artworks to help parents understand that they're not alone and to help communicate their own situation. Angus creates books in simple language to help children better understand their cancer treatment. So it's very, very beautiful work that he's been doing. It's great to have him with us tonight. He's once again part of the Affinity family. Cousin Angus, come on up.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Cousin Ahmed, for this wonderful invitation. What a night. Goodness me. And tell you what, that is hard to follow up with after. What a speech. In 2016, I was living in Westmead Children's Hospital with my daughter Jane, as she was suffering from a horrific cancer called embryonal rhabdomyosarcoma. It wasn't looking good. There was no guarantee she'd make it through. An abdominal tumour the size of a rock melon continued to grow and push up against her vitals and her heart and her lungs. One day she had undergone some sort of, I can't quite remember what it was, a scan or a surgery, and we were in post-op and we were alone. And a single nurse was assigned to us. She wore the hijab and it was quiet, and she probably saw that I was very stressed and quite distressed as well. And in that moment she says to me, "Sir, I am praying to Allah for your daughter." Now, it's hard for me to articulate the significance of what that meant to me in that moment. We people of faith, when there's only darkness and there's nothing else that can be done, we all have our prayer. In that moment, Allah, in his wisdom, had given this nurse, his servant, the right words in the right moment at the right place to give to me. And there was hope. Our public hospitals are the true face of what Australia is. In fact, Westmead was the first time that I've ever even met Aussie Muslims. I don't get out much. I discovered that our nation is a place more colourful, more vibrant, more interesting, and more wonderful and more generous than I had ever imagined. Eventually, Jane got better, and as James explained, I was so impacted by what I'd seen in hospital, I began creating books and visual material for childhood cancer families, both here in Australia and around the world. One day I got a message from a father from Pakistan, living in Saudi Arabia. His name was Zubair. He tells me he loves what I do and he wants to translate it into Urdu for me. I said, well, thank you very much, but the volunteers at Karachi Children's Hospital are already doing that for me. But he was a father with a sick daughter, and when a father contacts me, it's always on my heart to speak to them, because the life of a father of a seriously ill child is a very, very lonely one indeed. Zubair told me that he has an infant daughter named Mina. She had an abdominal tumour, same as my own daughter. My wife Rachel and I had been prepared for the possibility that Jane might face the removal of her entire bowel to save her life. In the end, she only lost 5 centimetres. Little Mina, however, lost her entire bowel. She was facing a life permanently attached to a total perinatal nutrition machine to act as an external bowel for her. Zubair explained to me that he worried about her future, as in his country, he told me, there was still great stigma associated with disability. I was so moved by what he said, I thought, what could I do? How about I create a little book just for Mina that talks about she's just like any other child. She's just got this machine to help her have nutrition. And so Zubair agreed. He thought that was a great idea. And so I started going through different photos, and I discovered that Zubair's wife wore the hijab. And so in creating characters, I thought, well, wouldn't that be great? I'll just put Mina's mother in there wearing the hijab. Didn't think anything of it. It made sense. It was Pakistan, and any friends that she might meet, it would be a familiar sight. I called the book My Tummy. And once I finished it, I threw it up online for free, as I do. And Zubair was very grateful. One of my favourite photos is I sent the books over to Zubair, and he took a photo of little Mina with my books, and it was just wonderful. I had no idea at the time I'd created the world's first short bowel syndrome book for infants. I had no idea. I just wanted to help Mina. So then the book being up for free went all around the world. And then one day I was contacted by a representative from a certain country saying, Angus, we would like to submit this for peer review, for printing and distribution across our country. I said, of course, go ahead. And so it went through the rigours, and they got back to me and they said, I'm sorry, Angus, it has failed submission. I said, why? And she was embarrassed to say it was because I'd included a lady with a hijab. They put their prejudice for the most vulnerable. I couldn't believe it. But it didn't matter. In defiance, they got the books, they printed them out off inkjet printers, they stapled them together and they walked them into the hospitals across that country. And it's used today as an unofficial, official book on short bowel syndrome in that country. It didn't matter. Doesn't matter. Whatever the unfamiliar between us, to my mind, there is two things that we all have in this great country. And number one is that we are Aussies. And whatever that has meant in the past, we all decide what that is today and moving into the future. And number two, we love our children and we want the best for them. Ramadan Mubarak. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you, Angus. Absolutely fantastic. You're going to get a gift. In fact, Amar Singh, who was I'm sure you know, 2023 Australian of the Year local hero. Amar, fantastic. Love your work. Spoke to you often. Give a gift of thanks to Angus. And that really is a unbelievably beautiful story and so true. Fantastic. Ahmed's bringing up some for his daughter as well to take home. Beautiful. Yeah. Gorgeous.